Welcome to Always in Escrow. Hello, Colby.
Serena, it's been a minute. How are you?
I am fantastic because today we are speaking with Glenn Asher, the title guy, who is a leading expert in title services, both nationwide and in South Florida, with 7 offices and offering exceptional customer service. Glenn, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Colby, thank you for having me once again. My neighbor.
Serena, I met Glenn. First of all, I thought he was in New York because he has such a presence, and I thought he is from New York, but I didn't realize he lived down in Boca, and he is my neighbor. But this guy, first of all, his house is everything. His backyard is insane, Serena. He did a party, and it was like a twilight, like evening party. The pool is crazy. It's gorgeous. He has these waterfalls. His barbecue area is huge and sophisticated. You name it, this guy knows how to entertain, Serena.
Thank you. My appreciation. Yeah, I enjoy creativity. I enjoy design, and that's for everything, for my branding, for my businesses, for title. I try to kind of separate myself from the industry a little bit. And the title business is a very stale, dated, archaic type of industry. You don't see a lot of social media. You don't see a lot of media presence. And I try to do podcasts, and I try to do I try to do things that are real. Like, we're selling houses, yes, but like, we're dealing with real people. And when you're in the luxury market, not that I specialize in the luxury market, I don't want to categorize myself. I've been doing this for 24 years, and you kind of graduate in the business. But if you're going to do transactions, you might as well do good ones. That's what it comes down to. And deal with good people, and you're in the same socioeconomic class. And I do the whole country, so I have a lot of personal clients and customers from here to LA to Texas to they're buying a flat in London. Although I don't do title there, I do a lot of family office stuff and a lot of high net worth private banking stuff. I do residential all over the country. I do commercial, and we have a 1031 platform to do investment 1031 stuff. But at the end of the day, consumers are selling and buying an asset, right? This is not non-emotional stuff. And it's hard to be a real estate agent, Colby. I give you guys a lot of credit. It's not easy, right? And it's getting harder, and the rules keep changing, and the game keeps changing, and and price points, and inventory, and mortgage rates, and appraisals, and you have a plethora of challenges every day, that you have to face. And the same thing with me, right? We have so much variability, and so many things can happen inside of a transaction, in a minute, in a day, in an email. So I've always been driven by supporting the consumer, telling the agent, I appreciate your business, kind of get the hell out of the way, go sell houses. That's your job. That's what you specialize in. I'm the title guy. That's what I specialize in. The more time you spend doing my business, the less money we both make, right? At the end of the day, I just want to take the responsibility with my team is amazing. In Florida, I have over 20 people, bilingual, tons of experience in the industry, and on top of things, and with a driven work ethic. And, truth be told is, let's call it spade a spade. My business is down 60% from what it was. I've closed 10 billion in residential deals, over 10 billion since 2020, all over the country. And then all of a sudden, when the rates, went up, listen, things hit the fan. And if anybody is telling you that they're killing it all day long compared to what they were, they're full of nonsense. I'm very transparent. My Instagram is all about me and my business and my family, and my daughter and her gymnastics and what we do, and my history. And I think it's important to be real, right? Like, I've been doing business with the guys for $1 Million Listing for a long, long time. You said I throw a great party. Well, I started doing events for them back in the day. That's how I started my branding and event planning, is their broker opens and doing big events for all these guys, and I brought it down to Florida. I don't really do it anymore, to be honest with you. That was a great event for the real producers. So I had, I wanted to do that, and I enjoyed my house. So
So, rumor has it that you are launching the first AI of its kind technology for closing real estate transactions. Tell our audience how it's going to work.
what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the archaic operational kind of things out of the mix, right? Anything data driven, anything that could be mapped through data transfers and APIs and AI integration, let's do it. So we've come up with the closing platform, which is going to be a twofold kind of thing. And one will be about my resource center, which we'll also talk about. But on the AI platform, when you order a title from us and you send us a contract to sale, that's when the process really begins, right? So we want all of the information. Every time you email me a contract to sale, we want to know the buyer's information. We want to know the listing agent, the listing, the buyer's broker, the listing agent, the seller, and the buyer and the lender, if there is one. We want all of their contact information. So as soon as we get a contract, we try to ascertain and get all of that information so we have a full file to open, right? And then we're sending wiring instructions, right? So why can't that be automated? Right? It should be. So it is now. All secure portals. Nobody does it like that. As soon as the wire comes in, the escrow letter goes out, same way. Link right to the portal. What you're going to be able to do throughout and after the transaction is also have integration with my documents and customer service without speaking to anyone. So you're basically going to be talking to Ask the Title Guy instead of Siri or Alexa or whatever you have on your phone or Google Assistant. You're going to ask the title guy. And with the AI portion of it and how I'm going to save 35 to 40% of time processing files is it automatically goes into my software. So literally it's mapped so that when the answer of question A is mapped to field A in my software that needs the answer to that question. So I'm going to cut down 30 to 40% processing time on every file. And to be honest with you, it's so much easier. What I want to spend my time on is communicating with the homeowner, with the buyer, with the seller, with the agents. Listen, I'm old school when it comes to service, right? Pick up your damn phone, answer the questions that people ask you, and have an answer for them. And if you don't have an answer or you're not, I answer my phone all of the time. Why? Because someone is waiting for an answer or they wouldn't be calling me, right? Even if you're on the phone, even if you're handling something, pick up the phone. I'll get right back to you. I'm on a conference call. Oh, you're not available? All right, what time can I call you back? There's nothing wrong with that, right? I'm not the guy that you're going to call and at the end of the day I have 36 voicemails and then getting back to people. Listen, people are at closing tables. They have questions. They can't move. They can't do things without my approval in a transaction. And why wait? There's no reason for it. The last thing to do with this is when the transaction is complete, there's documents post-closing that each party needs, right? The copy of the recorded deed, the copy of the owner's policy. We send out a homestead letter. I don't want to give all my trade secrets away, but we send out a letter to all the consumers on how to file for homestead. With an email, they now have access to that portal. They can go right to the portal and access their documents at any point.
It's just fantastic, and it's so thorough, but it also really shows, yeah, your gold standard for customer, for customer experiences. Like, and that it just makes it all make sense right now, because that's what you're known for. And I think this next question for you is really going to shed a light and raise the curtain on how you've been able to scale so fast because you are a household name from the East Coast to the West Coast. Tell us Tell us like a little bit of that secret. What how's that journey been?
The key to building a brand to me and to remain true to yourself and true to the industry and be industry leading is number one, you have to be consistent. That's the most important thing, right? People know what they're paying for. They know what they're getting with me. I'm very transparent. I am who I am. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I'm not arrogant, but I know what I'm doing. Like, and that's okay, right? That's okay to shine through. And some people look at success as arrogance, but listen, I started with nothing. I did no purchases the first 8 years of being in the title business. I did all refinances. In 2008 came, I changed my business model. I moved to Florida. I knew no one down here, literally no one. And I took, I just kind of got tired of being in New York and doing the same thing over and over. It was pre-COVID, way before COVID, 2016, I moved down and literally had 0 clients and built my book down here while I managed my book in New York. And it was a perfect timing. My team has been with me. I have no attrition. Nobody leaves. And I don't fire anyone. I just hire, and I'm hiring now because business is going to get crazy again with the rates going down. But truth be told is, I treat my people well. It's all about consistency. It's all about building. And for me, in an archaic industry, standing out is pretty easy. I'm a little eclectic, as you see. That's just my personality. I'm out there. I have nothing to hide. I'm super compliant. I have no claims. I stand behind my brand, and I'm consistent, and I work hard. And those kind of things just separate you in itself. And then I love marketing. So that's my key. Transactionally, truth be told is I have an amazing team. I don't need to babysit them. I handle problems all day long. That's the I've grown my career to be able to do meetings, corporate, build business, bring business in, do events, do social media, do podcast, do stuff that's going to get my brand out there. I love marketing. I think it's interesting. I like to be different. And like I said, I don't do dinners every night anymore. Those days are over. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning. I'm sending emails at 4 in the morning. I'm in bed by 9 o'clock at night. That's it. That's my schedule. I have assistants to do everything else. And at the end of the day, from 3:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, I'm working, taking care of family, and doing what I got to do.
Okay, so Glenn, tell people, because I find this a lot in our industry, they don't understand title insurance. What is the biggest misconception about title insurance?
So title insurance is a weird insurance. Let's put it that way. So we're the only insurance company that insures backwards. So now I've really confused everyone, right? So think about this. You buy a car, you get it insured. You buy a ring, you get it insured. You do everything after you purchase something, right? Moving forward. In our industry, we actually insure everything prior to the closing. So we're searching properties, we're searching judgments, liens, mortgages, taxes, water, open permits. We're searching everything that needs to be searched from the last insured transaction until now. So when you close on a house and you're selling your house now, let's say, right? So when you bought it in 2020, I'm doing a search from 2020's deed recorded up until the day of I do an initial search, and then I do what's called a continuation, which is a search from the point of contract or the initial title search till the last day before closing, just to make sure nothing happened in that gap period between the initial search and the closing period, because anything could happen. And we're ensuring that. So we're checking the seller, the buyer, the property, the survey. We're making sure that you have, as a buyer, a clean bill of health. So we're giving you an insurance policy called a fee policy or an owner's policy that you purchase, and the pricing is state regulated depending on what state you're in and what purchase price you're in. It's all regulated. So all of the premiums are the same across the board. So literally, as a title company, the only fees that change are non-state regulated fees. So the recording fees are state regulated. The premium is state regulated. The mortgage tax is state regulated. What's not state regulated is the closing fee, and then what I call the junk fees, right? The FedEx fee, I charge a $50 FedEx fee. Why? Because that's what it costs. I charge a $150 search fee. It costs me $100 for my search and a $50 for the continuation search. I don't upcharge it. I only charge a $5.95 closing fee. That's important because I'm not, and that includes the notary. So I firmly believe that you shouldn't hit a grand slam on every file. You look at title bills, and title industry is regulated heavily on the compliance side, but not the settlement side. So you'll see companies charging $1,500. They charge a doc prep fee. They charge a storage fee. It's all junk. It's all nonsense.
You know what I love about Glenn Kolbs is his transparency, right? He's putting it all out there and he's also educating us. And that leads me to this next question because you have a wealth of knowledge and that you're putting it into a resource center. What is that all about?
Ask the Title Guy came from um, everyone asking me questions. Literally, like, I need a lender, I need a appraiser, I need a roof, I need an inspector, I need this. So that's where Ask the Title Guy kind of came from. And during this downtime in the market where transactions went down 50 to 60% across the board, what am I going to do? I'm spending this time building technology and resources to benefit agents, to benefit my team, to benefit compliance, to do the things that need to be done for when it gets busy again, to take advantage of it. I'm not going to sit around. I work hard. I'm not going to sit around. That's not what I do, and I'm not going to pester people for business when they're not doing business, right? Listen, business is tough out there, man. Life is tough. Life never used to be as tough. And I don't care who you are. There's a million variables now, and life gets in the way. And it is what it is, right? So until it gets really busy again, and like I'm focused transactionally, this is my time to build resources. So what I did was I built something called the closing platform or the closing portal, which you can access at askthetitleguy.com, which is my website. And follow me on social media at Ask the Title Guy on Instagram, especially, and LinkedIn. But what it does is it allows you as a consumer, as a realtor, as anyone, basically, it could be an individual, it could be a lender, you can access my portal. You sign up with a username and password, you get access to the portal, and it gives you access to put in a property address. You put in that property address, and it's going to give you the current vesting deed on title. So who owns the property? Okay. The biggest thing I always pitch to agents when I do presentations is when you go to a listing appointment, do you pull the deed of record? And I don't care where I am, less than 50% of people do it. And probably 20% of the people that say they do it are lying, just to be transparent. Why is it so important, Colby? Why? Because when you need to know who needs to sign the listing agreement and the contract, right? I can't tell you how many calls I get. Glenn, I got a problem. What's the problem? Well, when I went to the house, I signed the listing agreement, I signed the contract, and they forgot to tell me, or they didn't tell me that their sister is in Holland and she owns a part of the property, or it's in a trust, and the trustee and the beneficiary are both, one's in Russia and one's in Venezuela. It happens every week, all the time. So what I'm actually tired of hearing agents call me to do this. So what I pitch is, now you have no excuses. If you don't use my technology, it's on you. Like, there's no reason for it. It's free and it's accessible, right? You can put it right on your phone. You go into a listing appointment. You need to do the things that you can't do on your own. I can't tell you what the comps are. That's not my business. I can't tell you the house and the finishes, and that's what Colby does, right? What I need to help him with is what's the X factor, the closing costs, who owns the property, what the taxes are. So it'll allow you to also pull the current taxes on a property. As soon as you put the property address in, it pulls the current taxes. Not only will it pull the current taxes, but it's going to give you an AVM. Now, an AVM or a BPO is a combination or gives you the appraised value of the house. It's probably between 5 and 10% off in either direction, which is 80% better than Zillow or any of the nonsense public websites. This is a culmination of about 15 different websites across the country that lenders use to calculate BPOs. You're going to put all of these data points in my app and press calculate, and it's going to give you the net proceeds to the seller. Literally, and you could brand it yourself. So now with your stuff, you're going to print my stuff and you're going to walk in as an informed agent.
Serena, I told you, Glenn has the biggest heart. He's such a great guy. Did I not tell you that, Serena?
Yeah, and he's putting out such an efficient product. I mean, you get right to it, and that's what we appreciate in life, in business, and that again, it's really admirable. I love it.
Tell everyone how they could find you, download.
Yep.
Tell everyone.
So right on my website, askthetitleguy.com, that has everything. There's tabs on askthetitleguy.com for my app download. It has the closing portal email, download on there. Everything is there. I've been doing this for a long time. I do the whole country. We do construction, commercial, 1031, residential, HELOCs. We do it. We do everything. Kensington Vanguard is the largest privately held company in the world. We have platforms all over the country. I have a big operation in Texas and all across the country. We have offices. I run the Southeast region. I have 7 offices here. We're moving an office from Brickell to Doral next week, just because of geography for some of the people that work for me. But we have presence everywhere. And I have, we close anywhere, anytime. That's very important to make it convenient for the borrowers because, listen, we live in Boca, right? I have a lot of consumers that are in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. They're sellers of second homes. They don't have to leave the couch in their house in New York to close on their property in Boca. We send wires for everything. Like, it just, convenience is king, right? Like I said, life is tough. Life is tough. People have responsibilities. Their time is limited. They need to have somebody who's strong, efficient, confident, professional, and experienced. And we try to bring all of those attributes to the table.